So this is Parshas Bo. It's Rabbi Yossi's Bar Mitzvah Parsha. That's what we call Gersata Diankusa. The words that you learn while you're young, you remember forever. Meaning you remember them differently. The best time to learn something is when you're old, is when you're younger. But if you learn it when you're older, you have to work harder, so you get maybe a better understanding. But it's 10 times as hard to learn something when you're older than when you're younger. So, Vayomer Hashem al Moshe, God says to Moshe, we're beginning Parshas Bo, chapter 10, verse 1. God says to Moshe, Bo el Paro, come to Pharaoh. But why does it really say come? It should say go. That's the whole question. That's the classic question. Why does it say, it's Rashi doesn't address it, but that's the classic question. That it shouldn't say come to Pharaoh, it should say go to Pharaoh. Lech al Paro. It says come to Pharaoh. Usually people answer it by saying, it means that that God will come with us to Paro. Well, then how is this a universal message? So the Lubavitcher Rebbe said it means that you got to come to Paro to get rid of the inner Paro that's inside of you. That's what it means, says the Rebbe. Anyway, come to Pharaoh. I've hardened his heart, that's Leiv Avadav, and the heart of his servants. A man Shisio Sosai Ela Bekirbo, so that I shall place these signs of mine in his midst. What does that mean? Rashi says, Dr. Rashi, Vayomer Hashem Moshe Bo al Paro, Vahasrebo, and warn him. Warn Paro. She see that I will be putting Uman Tisaper Baznei Bencha Ven Bencha, and you shall tell in the ears of your children and your grandchildren, Eis Asher Salalti B'Mitzrayim. Now I made a mockery of Egypt. Ves Ososai Asher Samtivam. And my signs that I placed upon them, vidatem, so you will know ki ani Hashem. You will know that I am Hashem. Says the Rashi, Hisalalti, I made a mockery of them, sachachti. That's what it says about Egypt. Okay, the rest of the Rashi, we don't have to read. I mean, we have to read it, but not in this context. So Moshe comes to Aaron, Vayavo Moshe and Aaron come to Paro. This is what God says. How long will you refuse to be humble before me? Send me forth. Send forth my people so that they can worship me. Says the Rashi, to be humbled. Oh, John, how you doing? How long will you be humbled? It comes from the poor. Rashi says, God is saying to Pharaoh, you've refused to become poor and lowly before me. So it's very interesting. I read it wrong. Rashi did not read it the way I read it, because I would have read Leanos as to be afflicted. But Rashi does not read it that way, or to be subjugated. Rashi says that it's supposed to be read as humble. You're refusing to humble yourself. How are you doing? Yossi, here's the Chumash. He says you're refusing to humble yourself. Paro is a definition of somebody who does not humble himself. That's the point. To be a Paro means to be arrogant. That's the problem. By the way, Yossi, are you going to the talk tomorrow?
No, I'm not going to.
You're skipping out?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, hold on. Let me just pause for a second. I'm going to give I had to resume. So anyway, the Paro was saying the purpose of it was to humble Paro. That's what Rashi says. Okay. And then Pasuk Daled, Yossi, you read chapter 10, verse 4. Yossi, you read. How you doing? Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Chapter 10 of Exodus, verse 4. You're in Genesis. You're in Bereshit.
Oh.
Okay. What page is it, John? Read 33, Yossi. Norai. Baruch Hashem, Norai, Baruch Hashem. That's a great time for you to get it removed because I'm not going to be here. So we're not missing each other. So you'll be fine, Nora. Most people have had it done. Yeah, go on.
Key.
Yeah, go.
Key in the
I mean, it'll be painful. It'll be painful for a couple of days, but then you won't remember it. I had them removed also. I had half of them removed. You'll be fine. I mean, for a couple of days, you'll be in some discomfort. Okay, go on. But it's nothing for you. Go on. כי אם נעין אתה ושולח את עמי, הנני מביא מחר. Right, he says, if you refuse to send forth my people, then tomorrow I will bring the locust into your border. Says the question is, why does he say tomorrow? Why doesn't he do it today? Why does Moshe say to Pharaoh tomorrow? God says, I'll bring the locust. Why doesn't God just bring it today? So John, so one of the answers that's usually given is Hashem wanted to allow Pharaoh, even Pharaoh, to have the opportunity to do tshuva. Says tomorrow you're going to get this if you don't shape up. Even Pharaoh, who Hashem said will not be able to do tshuva, he had the opportunity. He had the opportunity to do tshuva. Very good, John. Okay, Nora, read the next one. Mechisa. Now locusts. There are some locusts that are kosher. Somebody sent me a question. Went to Costco and he got from Costco a package of frozen vegetables. And without looking at them, he heated them up. They had a supervision on them, and he heated them up. And when he put them on his plate, there was a big giant grasshopper, and he wanted to know if that was one of the kosher grasshoppers. We don't have Ashkenazic Jews don't have a tradition about which grasshoppers are kosher. Sephardic Jews, what? Yemenites, they have a tradition. Yemenites have a tradition about which grasshoppers are kosher, but Ashkenazic Jews, generally speaking, don't eat them. But if they're in a Yemenite Jew's house and the Yemenite Jew serves the grasshoppers, then you could eat them.
What about like a chalk covered grass?
Yeah, if it's in the Yemenite's house and the Yemenite has a tradition that's kosher, that would be okay to eat.
Oh, okay. But like besides that, if they're not in the house, they can't eat them.
No, if it's Ashkenazi Jew, generally speaking, can't eat the grasshoppers. Generally speaking, I mean, if he wants to rely on the Sephardic tradition, that's not advisable. But under certain circumstances, it might be okay. But anyway, generally speaking, because we don't know which grasshoppers are kosher, but the Yemenites knew. Okay, go on.
Right, Pisha, it's Ein Haaretz Bezoria Yachol, the Beirut, et Haaretz, Ahal, Ad Yoter, Aslavat, Ablaka, Anisher, Acher, Min Habaran, Vafer, et Kol et Some.
Right, very good. So vichisat eina aretz, it will cover the earth. Eina aretz, Rashi says, is the view of the land. This is like a plague of darkness also. The arba choshech and the makat pachoros, the last three plagues all took place under the cover of dark. So therefore, Colby, very good. So it'll cover the land, and they will eat whatever's left from the hail, and eat every single tree that grows from the field. Rashi says, we say what Rashi says, you won't be able to see the land. The onlooker will not be able to see the land, Rashi says. Okay. Okay. Kobe, what page are we on, Yossi?
335.
335. It's your turn to read, Kobe.
Okay.
Verse 6. Umalu.
What?
Say Vav.
Vatecha.
Umalu vatecha. Very good. Cool.
Mahu vatecha. Vatei kol Vatecha. Vatei kol Mitzrayim. Asher lo ra'u Vatecha. Ve'avod Vatecha. Yom Yotam al Adama al Hayom Hazeh. Vayitem Vayetzeh. Right, and they will fill up your homes and the home of all of your servants, and the home of all of Egypt, the homes of all of Egypt, that did not see anything like this from the day that you were on the earth until today. And they walked out from Pharaoh. Okay, so these are unusual locusts. Anybody ever see locusts? Well, I mean, we've seen cicadas. Cicadas, I think, are a type of locusts. Yeah. So can Spartan eat cicadas? I don't know if that was one of their traditional ones that's kosher. Yeah, you could ask Chad, see what they say.
There's a picture in the class
of the locusts.
but it looks like a
Yeah, but you have to know exactly which you have to have a tradition about it.
yeah.
I probably the cicadas are not okay.
My grandma said she thinks.
Remember, so she eats cicada.
My grandma said
Your grandma is what is she? Yemenite?
No, she doesn't keep kosher.
Oh, well then tell her no more cicadas for you. She should give it up.
Yeah.
Okay, John, do you want to read?
I'll pass.
Okay, Yossi, you read. Yossi, you read. Hold on. You read the next pasuk.
Okay.
Hold on.
You read, Yossi.
Okay. Vayomru Avdei Pharaoh I love Ad Masai Zelanu Lemokesh Shalach et HaNashim V'yodu et Hashem Elohim
Hello, yeah, hello.
Elohim
Okay, Ham.
Aterem Teida Ki of the Mitzrayim.
Right. So he says, hold on 1 second. So he says, and the servants of Pharaoh said to him, how long are you going to be a snare for us? Send forth these people and let them worship Hashem their God. Haterem Teida, do you not know? Ki of the Mitzrayim, that Egypt is lost. You're destroying Egypt. Rashi says, don't you know that you destroyed it? You know what Pharaoh is like? He's like the Ayatollahs in Iran. And what are they doing today? They're like ruining their country. Everything keeps going down, down, down. They make it worse and worse and worse, and they're just not giving in. Elon, you need a chumash right there. So that's what's going on here. Okay, Norai, what did you come up with from chat? Okay, we'll check it afterwards. Pasuk chet.
Does it start
It starts with Vayushav. 1 second, Yossi. Do me one favor. Do you? Oh, okay. I'll tell you after. Go on. Vayushav.
Vayushav et Moshe ve'et Aaron el Pharaoh vayomer vayomor elehem lesu atu ex Hashem Elohim mi umi atelo Hashem.
Right. So he says. So Moshe brought Vayushav and Moshe. So they brought back Moshe. They brought them back. Ushvu al Yudei Shaliach. They brought them back. That they sent after them, and they brought them back to Pharaoh, and they said, go and worship Hashem your God. Who amongst you is going to be the ones that are going? Who amongst you is going to go? And now we have one of my favorite psukim in the whole Torah. My favorite psukim. Here, let me just Jeff is a student of history, so he can hear my critique. Hold on 1 second. But before we do that, let me just pause for a second. So we continue. So he says, Kobe, read the pasuk.
Which one?
Pasuk Tess.
Vayomer Moshe Bina Renu Utzimenu Melech
Ibnenu, Ibnotenu, Ibsoenu, Ibparenu, Noah, Ibad, Hashem.
Right. So this is such a powerful message that I always get moved by every time I read this pasuk. Pharaoh said, who's going amongst you? And Moshe said, with our young and with our old, we're going to go, with our children and with our sons and with our daughters, with our sheep and with our cattle, because it's a festival of God. It's telling us this idea when it comes to the festival, everybody is included. A powerful idea, right? So that was just an incredible vision. Okay, so now, Elon, you read the next pasuk. Vayomer aleim.
Anyone said? Word?
Yud.
Vayomer alehem ihi Adonai Imakan Asher Ashalach Temet His
Papchen.
Re'u Kira Ra'ah Neged.
Right. So Vayomer alehem. So Pharaoh said to them, Ye kain Hashem imachem. God should be with you, just like I sent you off, and also your children. But I'm not sending your children, basically. Meaning to say, it's a difficult verse to translate because Pharaoh, it's not straight. But Pharaoh is saying to them, did you get through to him?
Yeah, he said he's pulling up now.
What?
He said he's pulling up now.
Oh, okay. Okay. God will be with you just like when I send you out your children, meaning over my dead body. See that evil is facing you. Who's this Ra'ah? Rashi here has Pharaoh is saying, I'll send the sheep and the cattle, just like I said, but I'm never going to send your children. Why didn't he was holding the children as hostage, basically. And then he says, Kitar Gumo, Kira Midrash. Rashi says a Midrash here about this phrase because Re'u Kira Neged Pnechem is an unusual phrase. I don't think it appears anywhere else in the Torah. So Rashi tells us that what it means is, I see through my astrological predictions, Ro'ani Ba'atztagninu Sheli, that there's a star Ra'ah coming to meet you in the wilderness. And it's an omen of blood and killing. So Pharaoh said, I see that Ra'ah, this star Ra'ah, is coming to meet you. I see this through my astrology. And when the Israelites sinned with the golden calf, and Hashem wanted to kill them, Moshe said in his prayer, why should Egypt say he took them out in evil? Meaning to say, this is what Moshe said. Moshe said this was the argument that Moshe used to God that worked. The argument was, you're going to prove Pharaoh right. That's what Pharaoh said, that there's a star Ra'ah facing you. And immediately after this, Hashem changed his mind. And he turned the blood, which was supposed to be for death, with dam milah, for blood of circumcision. And that's why Joshua says, today I removed the shame of Egypt from upon you. That they were saying, we see you're going to have blood in the wilderness. So the basic point is, I'll say the Midrash says that Pharaoh saw the Jewish people were going to have blood. And when Hashem was going to kill them after the sin of, I'm not sure which sin this was. Oh, the sin of the golden calf, Rashi says that God said God was going to kill them. And the only argument that worked was Pharaoh is going to be proved right. And so therefore Hashem turned this blood into the blood of circumcision, turned the blood of their death. And that's why it says, the Bnei Israel did not circumcise when they were in the wilderness. So when they came to Canaan, they circumcised right away. And that says, I removed the shame of Egypt.
Rabbi, I was just going to add, I don't remember which rabbi it was, but they asked, you mentioned before Makat Choshech. Choshech, if every night there's choshech, so why is that like the second last makah? So he said it because in Psalm 136, Hallel Gadol, we say Lo Seorim Gedolim, and then Lemakem Mitzrayim B'Chorim, that Hashem turned off their god Ra. Ra was their super god,
Very nice.
and so I think that's what Pharaoh is really telling them. Like, you can't, maybe you can deal with me, maybe you can punish me, but you can't deal with Ra. And
It's a very nice explanation. Very beautiful. I was also thinking something else. The worst plague of all, is not the physical, but the emotional. Not the tangible, but the mental. And there's nothing worse in life than to be in a place of darkness. To be in a place of darkness is the worst plague of all. And that's what that plague is. The Egyptians were in darkness. They didn't see a way out. If you see people who are struggling with darkness, it's so sad because they can't help themselves. All the methods that are usually used to help people live a healthy life, let's say, for example, exercise. If you exercise, you're going to be happier and healthier. You can't say to somebody who's in a place of darkness, you need to exercise, because they can't even get up out of bed to exercise. They're in so much darkness. They can't do the, like you say, you have to eat right. They can't see that. They're in this like opaque place. So that's why the plague of darkness, I think, is the worst of all the plagues. The other plagues, at least there's hope. The worst thing in the world is to have no hope. Okay, whose turn is it? Elon.
Just did it, Rav, but I'll do it again.
You just read?
Yeah, I did just read. I'll read it again. Lo Cain, Bakuna, Begarim, that they do at Nike at time with Vakshin, at Beresh, time is
Very good. Well, that's why we're calling you again. You did a good job. It says, Lo Cain. That's not what's going to happen. That's not what's going to happen. Uchunag Varim. Let the men go and serve Hashem, because that's what you request. And he sent them out from Pharaoh. You said you want to take the children with you. It's not going to be like that, because this worship, who does it? The children don't show up to worship. It's going to be done by the adults, by the men. So therefore, I'm keeping the children. Okay, we have time for one more pasuk. Okay, go on. Yossi, you had bet?
V'yomru.
No, close.
V'yomer Hashem al Moshe, V'teyotcha al Eretz Mitzrayim, Barbe v'yal el Eretz Mitzrayim, V'yachal et Tzoli Sov ha'eretz Eikol Asher Habarad.
Right. So God said to Moshe, stick forth your hand on the land of Egypt with locusts, and all of the land of Egypt, they went up and they ate all the vegetation and everything that the hail had left. Okay, okay, we'll stop here to daven mincha. Big shkoyach to everybody. Tomorrow afternoon at this time, we're having a special